Here we go. There we go. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It is quite late, and I'm sorry about that. I did say yesterday that I was waiting on two decisions to come down locally, and I've been a nervous wreck all day waiting to see if we got either of them. But right now, it's Parliament and the other thing is still going. Right now, no update on Gregory Lynn at all. They are still in deliberations for their second week now. And I'm just having a quick look now, last hour. Right now, no update in the Gregory Lynn for Monday, which is abnormal coming close to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They only have a couple more hours today. If they were going to announce something, it probably would have been talked about by now. They probably would have put out a notice to the justice that they were done and that we'd get a half-hour warning to start covering it. The other thing is not true crime related, it's personal related. The government down here is looking at a bill today that'll affect up to 2 million people, including me. So I'm keeping a real close eye on it because it affects me. So yeah, I'm a bit of a scatterbrain today because of it. I can talk to you about a little bit of crime. Last night after we got off the air, there was a really odd thing that happened in WA. All these red alerts went out about half an hour after I got off our live show last night. And I was like, oh no, it's like another Bondi. But it wasn't. It was two teenagers running amok in a shopping center and it got sent into a code red. I'll show you. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Da, da, da. Where is it? It's not here. Just got to remember what it's called. Westfield Marion. It was called Westfield Marion. That's it. So yeah, yesterday, just all these alerts. People like someone's got a weapon, and it ended up being not as super serious as, but still, I'm guessing people don't like people running around with weapons at a shopping center, even though they are teenagers. Apparently, they had batons, extendable batons, and a knife, maybe. So I'm going to show you that update now. By the way, guys, I got to go get my lamp on. My bulb broke on my streaming my streaming lamp, so I got to go turn the other light on. I think it just popped. It doesn't work anymore. So I got to go turn a light on. Hold on. Let me show you this, and then you guys, I'll fix this. So I'm going to stop it there. Yeah, this is actually the sign that he's talking about. This is what flashed up on the screen to shoppers. Attention, armed offender, escape, hide, or tell. And they had people over the loudspeaker talking and stuff like that. Yeah, it seems like malls are now the new battleground for some reason. I don't think it's not. Well, sort of. James Avery says NWA, sort of. It's the something like that. Yeah. Retired RN says, yeah, thanks. I hope so. It's a really big deal. Um, Actually, I'll tell you a little bit about it, but then I'm not going to discuss it further than just telling you what the actual bill before Parliament is, because this is not what this channel is about. The bill before Parliament right now it's a bill to outlaw sale, manufacture, and making of vaping products at all. Blanket ban. Done. Like, if this passes, shops, online stores, everyone who checks, like, doesn't sell to children, they just sell to adults, gone overnight. By next Monday, they will have to close. They get 6 days to run out their business and shut down. And the only way you'll be able to get it is through a pharmacy with a prescription, and you'll only be able to get 3 flavors: tobacco, plain, which is no flavor, and a very light mint. So there's been a lot of advocacy done over here over the last 6 months by people, and we'll see what happens in the parliament, whether they have done enough. Danny Mitchell says US run, hide, fight. Yeah, we just had to be different. They're like escape, hide, tell. How can we be different from the America? Let's word it differently. It's just, look, I don't care what people do with their lives. If you're an adult, that's your choice. And as long as you're not hurting anyone else, I'm cool with that. You smoke weed, great. Whatever. I'm cool with that. Most places it's legal now, right? But to take people away a way they can try and get away from tobacco, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather have, yeah, so that's the problem down here. I think I've shown you guys a couple of times that we're getting all these fire bombings, especially where I live. I'll show you. We keep getting like these arsonist attempts at these different stores here. See, like two shops attack, tobacco war. Um, They just keep throwing fire bombs into them and lighting them on fire because the black market is so much stronger than the regulated market down here. Because of this stupid prescription thing, the black illegal market is massive. It's so much bigger money wise than the legitimate way. And they're fighting over turf, like gangs, like real gangs. They're fighting over turf of who gets to sell this illegal contraband. And yeah, no one wants this. No one wants this. Everyone just wants to be able to show their ID card at the counter. And if you choose to partake in that, then that's your choice. Kind of like alcohol. You go to the alcohol shop, you show an 18 plus card, and you can get your alcohol or whatever, red wine, whatever you like, but not to children, right? Not to children, no kids. So yeah, Targets lock up milk now. Crazy. Rachel says I used vaping to quit smoking and it worked. So I understand regulations, but don't take it away altogether. That this is going to this new law is basically going to make it hard for people to even try it to get away from smoking. So anything we can do to get people away from smoking, I'm for. I don't think it's a horrible thing, and people die early. They get cancer and stuff. It's just a horrible thing. I mean, if you smoke, I get it. I was a smoker for 15 years, so I get it. Anyway, I don't. This channel is not a policy slash government slash vaping channel. It's a true crime channel. So we've got to go back to true crime. I have another interesting thing. Out of Australia. This one, bicycle bandit bank robber Kim Parsons sentenced at SA Supreme Court before taking life under VAD. It says a man who terrorized a state in a 10-year bank robbing spree has been sentenced to 35 years in jail, but will instead take his life under voluntary assisted dying laws. The man who terrorized the state in a 10-year bank robbing spree has been sentenced to 35 years. Yep. Kim Parsons, 73, robbed 11 banks across South Australia between 2004 and 2014, armed with a rifle and wearing a black balaclava. He evaded capture for years before South Australian police arrested him on October 13, 2023. He originally pleaded not guilty to the crimes before turning suddenly to admit his crime spree last week. In a packed courtroom filled with the victims of his robberies, Supreme Court Justice Sandy McDonald delivered her sentencing remarks, telling Mr. Parsons, who sat quietly in the dock from the remand centre, his conduct was morally reprehensible. The court heard Mr. Parsons threaten bank tellers with violence if they didn't give him the money. Justice McDonald said one of his victims had suffered trauma and PTSD from his, robberies. SA Health granted Mr. Parsons access to VAD earlier this year before he pleaded guilty to his crimes. Justice McDonald sentenced Mr. Parsons to 35 years in prison with a non-parole period of 28 years. She said his crimes still had no real explanation, but accepted his guilty plea was driven by remorse. It's understood Mr. Parsons only has days or weeks to live, with cancer eating his bones, brains, and lungs. He will imminently travel to Flinders Medical Centre, where he will be able to access the voluntary assisted dying kit. Wow, we might actually get not for children for that. Uh, South Australia passed its VAD laws in 2021. Eligible patients with terminal illnesses have been able to access the procedure since 2023. So that's the first time I've ever heard of a bank robber accessing this scheme to avoid sort of going to prison in a way. It is sort of moral policing, right? You are correct. Hey, Penguin. Sorry, my sweet friend. Come back in the morning. If it leaves me. Rachel says, I tried to find an update on the guy that hurt his baby and took off, but I couldn't remember his name. We read so many of those. You'd have to be more specific for me. Graphic. It is a little graphic. Yeah. So he will not serve his sentence, or for a little bit he will, and then he will leave this earth. But obviously, he's a very sick man already, and I don't know. I guess it's a solution. I have no idea. Um, okay, that's that one. Oh, that one. Is that of the guy that hurt his baby and took off? Are you talking about the guy who might be in Mexico now? I haven't seen an update for that either. Hold on. It's Saraya. And her dad's name is Aaron, and the girlfriend's name is Nadia Cole, but I don't think I have any update for you. Grizzly did a show on it earlier today. It's coming up on my list here. Grizzly True Crime did a live show on it. Uh, I don't see any update except for a few days ago, the FBI, along with several other agencies, raided that property of where they lived and got, I don't know what they got, evidence of something. I don't know. They didn't say. Tased his baby. Did I do that story? I don't know if I did that story. Who tased his baby? I don't know if we did that story on this channel. I don't remember doing something about a tasing of a baby. Oh, yes, now I know who you're talking about, the waterboarding guy. Okay, I gotcha. Alright, hold on, I'll get you an update. Yeah, he's a fugitive, right? He's on the run with another woman. Now I know who you're talking about. Okay. Let me see if I can get an update for you. Sounds like they arrested him. Yep. Sounds like he's been found. Here you go.
Know more details about the charges a South Carolina man is facing after he went on the run from U.S. Marshals. The Scott County Sheriff's Office in Kentucky says Nathan Ginter was taken into custody just after midnight yesterday. He was wanted after failing to appear in court on charges of unlawful conduct toward a child. Ginter was charged with 4 counts of felony in possession of a firearm and 16 counts of criminal possession of forged instrument. He was also found in possession of 2 handguns, 2 rifles, more than $60,000 in cash, and 16 fake IDs. That's on top of the warrants against him in South Carolina. There is no word on his extradition. You can read more on his arrest on our website, WYFF4.com.
Yeah, it sounds like they found him in Georgia last night. Sounds like here, authorities said Nathan Ginter, initially arrested in 2022 and given a 1 million bond. However, he didn't appear in court for his trial. He was convicted in his absence. Police in Georgetown, Kentucky, oh no, not Georgia, Georgetown, announced early Saturday morning that Nathan Ginter was caught along with a woman identified as Riley Pearson, whom police believe he was with Ginter. What? Whom whom police believe he was with. Okay. Ginter was first arrested in 2022 for what Police Chief Skip Holbrook described as the horrific abuse of a 3-year-old child. Prosecutors would later describe a 3-month period during which he harmed the child and a video in which he narrated while doing so. A judge set his bond at $1 million, and at some point he was released from custody. Ginter wasn't in court during the 3-day trial that led to a conviction on 4 counts of unlawful conduct towards a child. Failure to appear, a judge issued a bench warrant for his arrest. Following a days-long search in Kentucky, the offer of a reward up to $10,000, Ginter and Pearson were taken into custody, police said. Hey, come on. Ah, I don't know why I did that. Again. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, I saw the message. I was trying to work through my options, trying to figure out what was going on. That's why I said like 1 minute. I'm trying to figure out like what was actually muted. Nothing here on my side. This was on. If this goes off, you can tell I'm muted. But my panel here, it said it was off. Like it's like when I press this, what? And then it was light colored. I don't know what happened there or why I was muted. I don't know. This microphone has done it before. We've had this issue a couple of times. Yes, I saw it. It's all right, Danny. I can refund that to you once we get off. Thanks, though. I appreciate it. I'm Italian. That's right. Can you interpret the Italian hand signals? Um, yeah. Look, sorry about that. I was saying about these forged instruments. I don't know where the hell I got muted from, but I was saying I was looking for what is a forged instrument, and I was like, well, these are. It can be anything from like a check to deed titles, security bonds, even court seals. How on earth would you forge a court seal? Is that like on a document? Like if you had a warrant or something? What is a court seal? I want to know how you do that. It's just the emblem of the court. I would love to know how you forge that. Maybe your own court documents for bail. You're like, yes, it's been paid. Here, I have my document. It says can be currency, corporate documents. Then I said he had a bunch of fake IDs on him, and it says here documents used in identity theft. So Ginter had a whole bunch of fake IDs. His instrument charge probably comes from having those. There you go. We figured it out eventually. You don't accept refunds? Okay, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, so now we know it's probably from the fake IDs, but it can be a range of different items. A cookie break? Oh, we're only 10 minutes in, my friend. We're only 10 minutes in. Let's see. Maybe your TV is muted. You have to find the remote for your telly. Okay. Let me just check one thing here. You know what's funny? Nathan Ginter was in my Twitter list. And I was like, I don't know this case. I'd never heard of it before. It was in my Twitter list from yesterday. Okay. It's very strange. We're about 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. We should have had an update, and we don't for the Greg Lynn case. It's very odd. Actually, this is a very interesting case. If you guys want to know about this one from Australia, hold on. Sydney bartender jailed for 9 years for sharing friends' images on porn site. Now, this is not what you think it is. He didn't like take nude photos of his friends or whatever. I'll explain. A Sydney bartender who took photos from a string of women's private social media accounts and shared them on pornography websites has been jailed for 9 years. Andrew Thomas Haler, 38, posted photos of close friends, colleagues, and housemates and encouraged people to share fantasies about the victims along his own desires to sexually assault the women. Victims revealed the unnerving and disturbing impact of being told their images had been shared in that way, with many fearing for their safety after learning of the sickening threats on the forum. Halo also superimposed the faces of victims onto sexually explicit images, posted them on the same site. He pleaded guilty to 28 charges of using a carriage service to menace, harass, or offend, telling a court his offending was an outlet for a part of his psyche he didn't want. Okay. You know you can get help for that before you do crimes. Along with posting the images, he also made comments such as, "She is a future R victim. I am closing in on this S. I know where she lives. Let's claim her as ours." The website had more than 300,000 followers. The offending occurred between 2020 and 2022 and featured 26 victims, only 2 of whom he did not know. During an earlier hearing, he said he published the names of the women as he found it empowering, but he also thought his offending resembled a tree falling in the forest. So he's saying that, like, oh well, who does it harm? No one. It harms the women because you put their safety at risk by releasing their name and where they live. Anyone could show up there and be like, all right, it's time for R word time. I mean, they don't know that. They don't know you're posting about it, and they don't know that you're exposing them online. So it says here the widespread degradation of females could not have been lost on the offender. She told the court to post articles of that nature is to unleash the potential of such widespread and ongoing harm to a very large part of our community. One victim said it was unnerving to realize so many people saw me in these humiliating positions. I feel sick. And she says she feared for her safety as the defendant had revealed her identity online. Another said she was in a state of shock when she learned that Hayla had bragged about knowing her home address. The common theme is they have lost a sense of security, privacy, and memories, once recorded in images with happy context. And most all a sense of themselves and their former lives. This is profound harm. The court heard Haler was offending right up until his arrest last August. He immediately cooperated with police, providing passwords so they could search his devices. Culver jailed Haler for 9 years with a non parole period of 5.5 years. So he'll be in jail for at least 5 and a bit years in jail for what he did. Yeah, so the images weren't actually like nude images of the women, but this shows you it doesn't need to be. It just you just have to have the intent to cause the same time. It would be the same if you released naked photos of that woman and said those things. It's the same as taking her image and placing it on a like a porn actor and putting her face over the top of it and saying, "Hey, that's Jenny. Hey, go smash her," or something like that. Is this It's the same. The court sees it exactly the same. It doesn't have to be her actual nude photo. The intent is the same. So that's why they were able to get him for such a long period. But this is the first one I've heard of where it hasn't been like a revenge porn type situation. I've never heard of it done in this type of way before. But it's good. Hey, I hope women feel a bit safer out there knowing that the courts will help you if these idiots do stuff like this. I mean, a guy wouldn't like it. Imagine if a woman did this. Imagine if a woman took photos of you at work and went and got, I don't know, a photo of a dude who has a micro penis, put it on your image, and then shared it around the workplace, going, "Hey, this is Mark from down there. This is Mark from HR. Haven't you seen it? Look how tiny his dick is." I mean, you would be immensely embarrassed. You would probably never want to show up to that workplace again. So it works both ways. It's very serious. It can crumble a woman's career, a male's career. People got to be smarter with what you do online. You want to do humiliating stuff to yourself. Go for it. Hurting other people, no, it's bad. So I'm glad that he's in jail for 5.5 years. Hey Jerry, how you going, bud? Yeah, freak? Yeah, bit of a freak. Rachel says that's crazy and so wrong. I agree. Hopefully it will, and people will understand you can get locked up for this crap now. For many years, people did this and never had to have any consequences to their actions. So, all right, let's go back to America. Let's go back to America. What have I got on my list for tonight? Let's see. Okay. Let's go to what place is this? Indiana. Let's go to Indiana.
So in Evansville, 3 people are behind bars after a violent attack left a man in critical condition last night. And that's according to the Evansville Police Department, who says officers were called to the 100 block of East Tennessee Street around 10:30 p.m. The person who called 911 told police a man showed up on his porch covered in blood. Just a few minutes after showing up, the man lost consciousness and stopped breathing. Detectives used evidence and flock cameras to identify 3 suspects as Charles Miles, Cade Kirk, and Samantha Chase. They say cameras showed the 2 men attacking the victim even after he fell to the ground. According to Chase, the victim was in a relationship with Miles' wife before she married him. Miles told police the victim sent nude pictures of himself to his wife. Police say at the time of the affidavit, the victim was in intensive care, unconscious, unresponsive, and unable to breathe on his own. Officers believe he's not expected to survive his injuries. Miles and Chase are facing attempted murder charges, and if the victim doesn't survive, those charges could be upgraded to murder.
To walk up on someone's porch, bleeding like crazy, and then almost die, or he did die. Hold on. Yeah, 2 Indiana men have been charged with attempted murder after they were seen on camera savagely bashing another man who investigators say is not expected to survive. Once that guy dies, they will upgrade those charges for sure. They said Evansville police say a homeowner called 911 and reported that a man showed up on their front porch at 10:30 p.m. Saturday, covered in blood, lost consciousness, and stopped breathing. He was rushed to emergency with severe head trauma. As of Sunday afternoon, he was unconscious, unresponsive, and unable to breathe on his own. Investigators uncovered surveillance footage showing two men trying to kill him. About 15 minutes before the victim showed up on the homeowner's porch, police say surveillance footage from a nearby gas station shows another man, identified as 35-year-old Charles Ethan Miles, run up to the victim and try to hit him with something. The victim dodged the strike and ran from the scene with Miles chasing him. Miles quickly gave up, however, and returned to the gas station where he got into a Jeep, and they're saying the Jeep was owned by Cade Christopher Kirk. As the attack started, a woman identified as 27-year-old Samantha Brooke Chase came out of the convenience store and got into the Jeep. Security camera footage shows the victim walking towards his home. Kirk's Jeep speeds past and turns into East Tennessee Street, where the victim's home is located. The victim stops 4 houses past the victim's and waits there. All right, let me see if I can find that footage. Um, all right. These are the two guys. Look at that guy's face. That guy's face looks a bit messed up. Let me see if I can find the the CCTV. Da, da, da. Let's where. Do they even name the victim? Da, 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 da. No, but that's okay. Charles Ethan Mills. Okay. No, I can't seem to find it. Maybe they haven't released that footage in full. I find it interesting here. It says police said Miles told them that the victim had sent nude photos of himself to his wife prior to the attack. Okay, so does that make it okay to go and bash someone and kill him, does it? I mean, you could say something to him and be like, stay away from my wife, you weirdo. But bashing him with an object might be a step too far. Detectives say they located a set of brass knuckles on Kirk's person during his arrest, which they say Kirk denied using during the attack. Of course not. No way did he use them. I mean, you go to fight someone, take a weapon, and you go, nah, I'm not going to make this easier on myself. I'm going to put him in my pocket. I want to just make this a bit of a challenge. I don't think so. I think he probably used it because they said in the CCTV they can see him trying to hit him with an object. So, never been to Indiana? No, me either. Yeah, good to see everyone on this list. Retired RN, Rachel, you, Jerry, Danny, and Maria. All good people. Thanks for being here. What a horrible thing. It's very sad that the victim is not expected to survive and basically he's in hospital waiting to die. The EPD says the suspect's charges could be upgraded to murder if the victim passes away. They said here at least one of them has been released from jail. That's the woman, Samantha Brooke Chase. She was arrested on a failure to appear, but has since been let out of jail. Let me see if I can find anything else here. 14. Let's go to Eyewitness News in the state. How's this? The guy involved in this attack, Cade Kirk, was previously behind bars after he was involved in a shootout with deputies back in 2020. Sounds like a solid dude. The affidavit says the victim ran off yeah, we know that. There's all three of their photos, courtesy of Vanderburgh County Jail. There you go. I wanna know what happened to this guy's face. Did he hit himself in the head with the, brass knuckles or come on. There we go. There you go, there's the guy in the middle. What happened to his head? Was that the cops like, "Hey, we're arresting you," push, and push him into the ground a little bit? "Hey, stop resisting." Uh, this guy just looks like he's mad at the camera, and she's like, "What am I doing here? I'm just a woman." She's like, "I didn't do anything. I just watched it all happen, and I didn't call for help." Okay. It says here some more information on those nude photos. Miles claims the victim sent inappropriate and nude photos of himself to his wife, which upset him greatly. He also said he remembered going towards the victim and falling, but could not remember what happened after that. Miles allegedly continued to say he blacked out and did not know what happened after they left the gas station. Oh, that's convenient. Officials say, yeah, when the victim does pass away, they will upgrade to murder. That's very sad. They said the Midtown ER did a CT scan on the victim and it showed that he had severe head trauma. But no name of the victim right now. Probably won't until next of kin are identified for him. Very different looks on those faces. You could do like a Brady Bunch intro video with all three of them. It's a story about three losers who beat people up walking down the street. All right. There's that one. That's a very sad story that that guy will pass away eventually. They do not expect a recovery for him. I wish I had a name for you, but I don't know. They just must not be releasing it at this point in time. It's very sad that he's sitting somewhere in a hospital, will never regain consciousness. Very sad. All right. What else is on my list? Okay. All right. We could do this. Let's go to Alabama. Let's go to Alabama. We like going there. Uh, let's go to the Facebook, and then I'll try find more for you. So this is Florence, Alabama Police Department. I don't think I've ever done a story from here. It says on Saturday, June 22nd, 2024, around 5:30 p.m., police responded to the reports of a burglary in the 400 block of Howell Street in Florence. When officers arrived, two victims were located inside the residence with multiple injuries. Officers began providing the victims first aid, and they were transferred by Florence Fire and Rescue and Lifeguard EMS. The 79-year-old female resident was transported to UAB Hospital by Air Evac, and a 76-year-old female was taken to North Alabama Medical Center. Both victims remain in hospital. Patrol officers located a doorbell video of a suspect leaving the area. The suspect was identified as Michael Joe Kirkland Jr., 34, of Florence. Evidence recovered connected Kirkman. Kirkman? They spelled his name different here. It says Michael Joe Kirkland or Kirkman. Okay. He is a man, and his name is Kirkland. He could be a Kirkman. It says here they have connected him to the incident. He was arrested and booked on first-degree charges of burglary in the first degree, sodomy in the first degree, robbery in the first degree, and assault in the first degree. This is an ongoing investigation and additional charges are pending. Kirkland is being held in Lauderdale County Detention Center without bail pending a law hearing. He's presumed innocent until proven to be a jerk. There's his face. So he sodomized a 79-year-old woman and a 76-year-old woman in their home. Yeah, this guy definitely needs to be off the streets. for sure. Someone that feels that is an okay thing to do probably shouldn't be just walking around. So there you go. When was that? That was today, Sunday, 23rd of the 6th, 2024. So that off the street. Good work. Horrible man? Yes, very horrible. Yeah, to break into two elderly women's home and sexually assault them is the things that we don't want in our communities, right? We want people who will add to our community, not, you know, hurt people. So he can have a long jail sentence, I think. They will probably, what is it? First degree. So they're all felonies, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's got like 5 felonies. No, 4. So probably with the unit points, I don't know, 4.5 years or something. He'll probably get. Although the sodomy charge can get you, I think, like 9 years behind bars in Florida. So maybe he'll get up to 9. That would be good. He can have a long sit in a tiny room and think about his actions while everyone else is a little bit safer at night. Okay, thank you for telling me about the dog who was hit by a car. I hate that. When I have all these tabs open for you, they just randomly start playing videos every now and then. Something about a police dog. A Columbia police canine is recovering after being bit by a snake while tracking a suspect on Sunday. Police spokesman said a 5-year-old canine called Bo was tracking a suspect from a carjacking that occurred around 3:30 a.m. in the morning when he was bit by a snake. He was taken to a veterinarian's office and is okay, but is on light duty for the next week. He is a Dutch Shepherd, one of 11 canine officers the department has, and he's a member of the department and partnered with Master Officer Christopher Gunter for 3 months. He was a working dog with the US Air Force before that. Wow, he has a decorated career. Here, I want to show you about the dog that was bit by a snake while on duty.
And as Richland deputies are mourning the loss of another canine officer tonight because the dog was hit by a car on Saturday.
That's not the same one. This one, why have they tagged a different video in this? This one is about a police dog bit by a snake while tracking a carjacking suspect in Colombia. And then you play the video and they're like, yeah, they're mourning the loss of a dog that was hit by a car. Okay. There is no video. Sorry about that. I'm guessing it's a hazard of the job for the animals, right? You don't know where you're going to go each night. And hey, snakes are everywhere, especially as the weather warms up. Poor puppy dog. Hey, Robbie, how are you? Yeah, poor dog. He'll be alright. Apparently, it wasn't venomous. If it was venomous, he'd be in like veterinary hospital with a anti-venom, but it doesn't sound like he needs it. So it was probably just like a, I don't know, what kind of snakes live in South Carolina? I have no idea. I know cottonmouth, they live in South Carolina, but you guys have other snakes as well. Hold on. You have like copperheads and cottonmouth and water snake. What is a water snake? Oh, they just live in the water. Okay, makes sense. A king snake, timber rattlesnake, black rat snake, and an eastern diamondback. Oh, they're pretty nasty. You know, you guys think Australia has terrible spiders and snakes and things like that. You guys have cottonmouth snake, and I've heard they are one of the worst snakes to ever get bitten by. What do they call it? A water moccasin. And apparently those things, if they bite you, they can do some real damage, apparently. I've heard a lot of people in Florida and eastern, southern states are very wary of getting anywhere close to water moccasin. I don't know why they call it a water moccasin. Are they saying uh, you can make a water shoe out of it? I have no idea. What is another name for a water moccasin? Yeah, cottonmouth, northern cottonmouth, water moccasin, or simply a viper. Yeah, let me show you. Apparently, you're most likely to get bitten by these around the water because they live in swamps and things like that. They are a fat snake. Look at that thing. Yeah. The data was a water moccasin. Hey, Snapcrackle. Ah, Snapcrackle Pop says, we had 28 dogs saved by 2 fishermen. The dogs were chasing a deer into a lake. They followed the deer and they almost died by drowning. They were like too concentrated on their mission. They were like, we have to get the deer. They live in the water. Yeah, apparently they live in swamps and water. So, well, isn't a fox for most of you people, unless you live in England, aren't they an introduced species for most of you? Because they come from Europe, right? They don't come from America or Australia. They're imported from Europe. Okay. Have you ever been bitten by one? Because I don't know anyone that has, but I don't think I want to. All right, let me get you another story. And let me look for an update here. Yeah, this jury must be having real issues. To be into a second week, this is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like sort of like 5.5. They've been in there for 5.5 days, deliberating this trial, and so far, the only thing we've heard is that they wanted to look at the testimony from Greg Lynn himself, and they wanted to check out the ballistic testimony. That's it. I'm just looking at an article here. Anything interesting? Okay. I do have something. Hey, so it says here Croucher told the jury the law did not require the prosecution to prove motive, but had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt 4 elements of murder for a guilty verdict. He said his direction did not mean the jury must find Lynn guilty of both charges or not guilty of both charges. You must consider each charge separately. He said if the jury reached a point where it was unable to come to a unanimous verdict, you will send me a note and I'd discuss it with counsel and answer that question at that point. You have not reached that point yet. For now, I would ask you to go back and consider your verdicts further. Huh, that is very interesting. That's very interesting. Apparently, Justice Michael Croucher on Monday told the court the jury had asked a series of questions, including asking for clarification on whether it had to reach the same verdict for each murder, or each murder charge. The jury also asked Croucher to repeat the instruction regarding reaching a unanimous verdict and what happened if it was unable to reach a unanimous decision. Oh, interesting. The first question referred to a direction in Croucher's instructions to the jury. It said the fact that there was no evidence of motive was one of many circumstances you may take into account in determining whether you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Lynn committed murder in the first place. And they say, indeed, The absence of evidence of motive may well be a factor that causes you to reach the view that you are not satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Lin murdered Mr. Hill in the first place. And if you were not satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Lin murdered Mr. Hill, the prosecution accepts rightly that there would be no motive for him to murder Mrs. Clay. Croucher told the jury that the law did not require the prosecution to prove motive, but had to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the 4 elements of murder for a guilty verdict. Very interesting. Very interesting. I think that gives an insight into what's going on that jury. I think they are struggling to find a consensus one way or the other, and they are a little confused on what they actually need to get to either get one way or the other on guilty or not guilty. I think they're having some hurdles, and to be almost 6 days into the deliberation process and still having trouble, this may go on for a bit longer. Interesting to hear that the justice said they are not at the point of a hung jury just yet. They are not at that point. You need to go back and discuss it with your jury members more. And they'll often say this as a warning. They'll say, hey, try again, go back in there, discuss it a little more, find some common ground. Don't be sending me notes saying this is a hung jury. They're sort of like, we have all the time in the world. You can talk for days. It's okay. Very interesting. I wonder if we're going to see anything else tomorrow. They're almost at the end of their day right now. It's about just before 3 p.m. local time. I would not expect an announcement today. If they were going to announce a verdict, it would probably be first thing tomorrow morning, because there's just no time left today to do it. At least I don't think so. So there you go. There's your update in the Gregory Lin trial. Very interesting. Now, I want to read out a comment I got here earlier from Sherry Runs Late. Last night we were talking about some changes to the channel, and she wrote a response here. She basically said, pre-recorded shows take out the fun of the live shows. She says, I listen for live shows only. I won't watch it if they are pre-recorded. How boring for the audience to have a question, questions, or statements. She says, please don't change the format. Okay. She just says, yeah, she doesn't like the idea of pre-recorded. I don't mean that we're not going to do live shows. It would still be a live show every single day. It's just that it would be nice to be able to cover some more cases in a deeper way where I have more time to set things up for you, so I can show you more in depth into different parts of it or backstory. I can pull videos and stitch them in and stuff like that. I mean, we can do it live. It's just a lot more messy. But yeah, keep letting me know what you think about having some long form videos done, because they are an interest of mine. I wouldn't mind doing a couple. But some other people are like, hey, you can just do it live. We can. It is an option. All right. All right. This might be interesting. Okay. Says here, oh, what was that? I don't know. A man in his 20s in critical condition at a Gold Coast hospital after collapsing on dance floor in suspected overdose. A man in his 20s stopped breathing at a nightclub after suffering a suspected cocaine overdose on a night out with friends. Man, how much cocaine do you have to do that? Says here, a man who collapsed and stopped breathing on a dance floor of a popular Gold Coast nightclub is in critical condition after he suffered a suspected cocaine overdose on the weekend. Emergency services rushed to Cocktails and Dreams nightclub lounge bar in Surfers Paradise just after midnight on Sunday, following a report a man aged in his 20s had collapsed. When police arrived, they evacuated the bar as CPR was carried out on the man. He was rushed to Gold Coast University Hospital, where he remains in a critical condition. Queensland Police Acting Superintendent Scott Knowles said police spoke to the man's friends who told them he had been consuming cocaine earlier that evening. The superintendent said it appeared that the cocaine had contributed to the man collapsing on the dance floor. And they're just saying, it's important to understand there's no way you can determine the purity of illicit drugs or if they have been mixed with other chemicals. Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. A 20-year-old having far too much cocaine and, yeah, collapsing on the dance floor. Maybe tachycardia. Yeah, it could be. Hey, Snapcrackle, congratulations. Have fun at your new home. I know that's been a struggle for you, so congratulations. Have fun with moving, even though moving is very stressful. Try to have a good day on moving day. Could have been cut with E. I doubt E would give you the heart issues. Probably something like niacinamide or whatever they're called. That would give you the heart issues. That is a very big deal right now in drug area. They actually put out a press release yesterday for a Red Bull tablet, which does not contain any MDMA, but it contains that nitamine or niamines or whatever they're called, and it'll basically kill you. It'll end your life quicker than you can even think about it. Hold on. Just seeing if there's a update here for you. Nope, I don't see an update here. Okay. All right. How's everyone going in chat? Oh, 3 trucks and a trailer. Moving day will go quickly. I hope it does for you. I really do, because it is a pain in the bum. All right, let's see if we got one more story for tonight. I know it's been a very crappy Sunday night. I'm sorry about that. Today's been a real struggle. It's been a struggly day today, unfortunately. And I didn't want to come on this late, but I was hoping we're going to get updates much earlier. What? Apparently, the Daily Mail, the pinnacle of journalism, is saying here, astonishing Melissa Caddick theory reemerges 4 years after she vanished without a trace. So could the con woman still be alive? Nope. She dead. It says authorities continue to speculate whether Melissa Caddick is alive and in hiding almost 4 years after the notorious fraudster disappeared. Nope. Police declared the case closed after a foot that matched her DNA washed up on a beach 500 kilometers south of Sydney on the New South Wales south coast in early 2021. They believe Caddick took her own, existence from jumping from the cliffs near her home in Dover Heights. And they believe she knew her world was coming crashing down, knew she wouldn't be able to handle it, and she decided to jump. They said, so the coroner said that they don't believe she'd be in hiding for this long without contacting her son, because she had such a strong connection to him. It says, despite the coroner's ruling, the question of what happened to Caddick continues to play on the minds of thousands of Australians, including criminal psychologist Tim Watson Munro. He says the whole story is dodgy in my view. I don't know if she's alive or deceased. I made a comment a couple of years ago that with that sort of money, you could organize just about anything surgically. But of all the beaches in the world for a shoe to wash up in with her foot in it, all of that just struck me as a huge coincidence. Well, maybe. He says, who knows? More likely than not, she is deceased. That's my view. How has she died? That's speculative, whether it was foul play or, the other one. I don't know what you guys think. What do you think? Do you remember this? She was the con woman who ripped off everyone she knew, all her family, all her clients, even acquaintances, and spent their money on fancy, fancy clothes. Thanks, Retired RN. I appreciate your input. I do. Thank you. Jojo says you don't need a foot to live. Well, I mean, if you ever watched the Underbelly show about her, you will see the ending for that. Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know if she's alive or not. I don't think so. I think she cracked when she was raided. That raid apparently had a huge psychological distress on her. Even during it, the boyfriend says that it was basically she was unraveling for the whole day. The whole day that they were there, that she was just freaking out. So I suggest maybe it got to her. Snapcrackle Pop says Gone Girl. Maybe. Jojo says, yep, she's a fancy lady. Well, she did like her Dior and, you know, designer clothes. I don't know if people from not from Australia know this, but they actually took all her designer clothing, all her designer bags, and they sold them at auction. Yep, they sold all her stuff to pay back her victims. Everything she owned, the house, the apartment, the clothes, the jewelry, everything. Yeah, I wonder why she didn't have a better exit plan, to be honest, right? If you know you're going to screw up and take people's money, you got to have some sort of exit strategy. If you don't, then you'll just basically know you're living on borrowed time. You really, eventually it's going to catch up with you. So I am confused what her exit strategy might have been. But yeah, I know there's a new documentary coming out later this year on her, so that'll be interesting. Did anyone read the book today that came out about the Idaho college murders? I think it came out today, or was it tomorrow? Might be tomorrow. If you have read it, let me know. I haven't read it. Say something is a yeah, I get you. Maybe she thought she was magical and would never get caught. Yeah, barbecue at Snapcrackle Pop Place. All right, Snapcrackle. You tell us, we'll be there. Big party. We can have lots of barbecue. Yeah, they only found her foot in her runner, and nothing else. No other part of her has ever been located. Not a hand, not a body, not a skull, just the foot. That is all. Okay. Okay, this is odd. Apparently, according to the news, a man arrested after acting suspiciously at a Sydney church. A man has been arrested after churchgoers reported suspicious activity by a man at a church in Sydney's eastern suburbs. Police were called to a church on New South Head Road in Rose Bay about 6:30 p.m. yesterday. Officers spoke to a 36-year-old man and found him to be in possession of capsicum spray and a multi-tool with a knife. Oh my god, not the multi-tool. He was arrested and taken to Waverley Police Station and charged with possessing a prohibited weapon and a knife. The Bangor man was granted conditional bail to appear at Downing Centre Local Court on July 26. Interesting. A multi-tool. Okay. So what is a multi-tool with a knife? What would that even look like? Okay, well they do make some with pretty big knives on it, like that. Look at that, that'll do some damage. It's not like these ones that your dad would have in the 70s and 80s, like my dad did. You can get ones now that have like a full-on blade on it. Yeah, you can get all different ones. Even that would do some damage if you could, you know, get it to hold. There you go, that's a good one. So, yeah, you could hurt someone with it. You have a pool. That's very lucky. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, where is my thing? And some people would give an arm to live her life, and it only cost her 1 foot, perhaps? Maybe. You might be right. You have your dad's Swiss Army knife. They were very popular in the 70s and the 80s. My dad had one. Yeah, I think everyone's dad had one. All right, hold on, people. All right, let's see if I can find another story to close out with. WOFL, WFTV. Okay. Okay, thanks, WFTV. When did WFTV become a TV station that does geo blocking?
And a warning, the details are disturbing.
Yeah, this is tough. It happened in Melbourne. And as West 2's Michelle Meredith reports, the father, 25-year-old Edric Davis, is now in the Brevard County Jail on no bond.
Mr. Davis, come on up.
On Friday, Edric Davis faced a judge in Brevard County accused of killing his 6-week-old baby by violently hitting the boy's head with his knee, then later apologizing.
Mr. Davis, you understand the charges against you?
Investigators say it happened June 10th in Melbourne, in the house where the baby's mother lived. According to court records, the mother left their baby with Davis and left to take a shower, and eventually he joined her in the shower. When they got out, the report says they found the baby on the bed with formula purging from his nose, not breathing. Detectives say initially Davis told them he didn't know what happened, that he fed the baby, then laid him down on his right side. But the autopsy showed the baby had a horrific death, that his brain was bruised and bleeding. His body had multiple fractures, including to his ribs and jawbone. After more questioning, Davis eventually told investigators he accidentally hit the baby's head on a door frame, then slammed the baby's body down into his knee twice, hitting the back of the boy's head. Neighbors are stunned.
It's hard to believe that something like that could happen right across the street.
All right, you're currently at no bond on both counts.
Investigators say Davis confessed and even wrote an apology letter, but in court, there were no apologies accepted. Edric Davis now faces 2 charges, including first-degree murder of a child. Michelle Meredith, West 2 News.
What a horrible man. What a horrible person. By the way, Retired RN says, ping that race to 1000 is inching so slowly. I know. Actually, my friend AZ subscribed last night. Hey, AZ, how are you? Good to see you if you're out there. Yeah, he's a monster. Disgusting. Let's see. Where is that? Says here he's been charged with the death of his 6-year-old son after confessing to accidentally bashing his head. Okay, accidentally, sure, buddy, sure. Like we accidentally going to put you in jail for the rest of your life. Arrest records say that police were called to the home in Melbourne. By the way, Americans, that's how it's said, Melbourne. For an infant not breathing. It's not Melbourne. It's just Melbourne. I always find it funny when Floridians pronounce it because they have a Melbourne as well. The baby was taken to a hospital where he later died. And Davis told police he had no idea what happened and that he fed the baby, went to take a shower, then went and found the infant unresponsive when he returned. According to another news channel, the baby's mother said she'd gotten up that morning and fed the child, then left her son alone with Davis for about 15 minutes while she got into the shower. An autopsy the next day revealed multiple and severe injuries caused by blunt force trauma, including brain and ocular nerve hemorrhages, fractures to the clavicle, tibia, ribs, and jawbone. The medical examiner said the injuries appeared to have been caused intentionally just before the baby's death. Additionally, older rib fractures indicated prolonged physical abuse to the child. So he is just an absolute piece of crap. So here's his footage or his booking photo from Brevard County. Yes, a very evil man. Hey Utah, how are you? Yeah, Melbourne. Yeah. So you guys can pronounce it better than the people on the news. See, it goes both ways. If you were an American trying to read Australian news stories, you would probably trip up every second suburb. I'm Australian and I still screw them up because I don't know how to pronounce them all. So then imagine if you're Australian trying to read American town names. It's hard because a lot of the pronunciation is localized. So, you know, like we have a suburb here that is spelt or phonetically spelt Cranbourne, but no one ever says it like that. They just say Cranbourne. So you wouldn't know that unless you lived here. But it's spelt Cranbourne, but no one ever says it in that way. I learned that very quickly after moving here. All right. I think that's about it for the night, guys. It's about 1 a.m. in the morning for a lot of the East Coasters. For the West Coast, I think it's 11 p.m. Let's have a look. Yeah. No, it's only 10 o'clock. Only 10 o'clock for Pacific people. But it's Sunday night. You guys are heading in for your Monday morning. It was only 6 weeks old. The fact that the medical examiner said it had prior rib injuries that demonstrated prolonged abuse, and the baby's only 6 weeks old or whatever. Like, I mean, no, not 6 weeks, right? 6 months. No, 6 weeks. Yeah, you're right. How do you have prolonged abuse and rib fractures enough to be able to have that in 6 weeks? That poor child. It lived a life of pain since it was born. This guy, man, too many. Far too many children get abused, and we read, I swear we read about 20 of them every week between child abuse cases, women being abused, even some men being abused in DV, and then, yeah, they're the biggest ones we read every week. 6 weeks old. That's it. And it died. It's gone. It's deceased. Should be. Should be. Did they charge him with capital? Hold on. He was booked and arrested and taken to Brevard County Jail. On Friday, he was ordered to be held without bond. But what did they charge him with? First-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. So there you go. But that's not capital, is it? I don't, first-degree felony. Okay, first-degree felony, murder of a child and aggravated child abuse after he admitted to causing the baby's death. His name is Edric Lamar Davis from Melbourne, Florida. Let me see if I've got anything else for you. WKMG. He told police He beat the baby to death because he was stressed out. Okay. That's not really an explanation. You're the adult. Well, sort of. More like, yeah.
Sitting in jail tonight, accused of beating and killing his 6-week-old son. It all started when detectives in Melbourne went to the home along Mount Carmel Lane earlier this month to find the baby not breathing. News 6's James Barbero has what they uncovered as the days went on.
I'm inside the Brevard County Jail where at any moment, the 25-year-old father will walk into this courtroom, up to this podium right here, and he'll face a judge on charges of killing his own baby.
All right, Mr. Davis, you understand the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, you're currently at no bond on both counts.
Back on June 10th, Melbourne police say Edric Davis beat his infant son because he was stressed that the baby was fussy and crying. Police say it all started when the baby's mother decided to take a shower and she gave the baby to Davis to watch him and to feed him some formula. After 15 minutes, the mother says Davis got in the shower too, as she thought he put the baby to sleep. After they got out of the shower, they found the baby unresponsive. That's when the mother called 911.
3766 Mount Carmel. In reference to a 1-month-old baby, unknown medical issue at this time. It sounds like BCFR is giving CPR instructions.
Police say Davis confessed to hitting his son. When confronted with the results of the baby's autopsy, Davis told police he lost control and he was not in his right mind.
All right, sir.
Thank
Do you have any? You're welcome.
Police say that admission is documented in an apology letter. Davis is staying in jail without bond. In Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, getting results, News 6.
There you go. Just a little update for that one. I thought it was interesting to see the 911 call that they even told them to, do CPR on the child. I mean, yeah, not an excuse, right? And then he hopped in the shower with the mom, probably to have, have sex after you just beat her baby to death. Sick guy, really sick. I don't know what to say other than I'm sure there'll be a lot of people looking forward to your sentencing day. That's all I'll say. That's it. Hey, my lovely, lovely subscribers and viewers, I could not do this show without you, and I'm sorry the weekend's been a little up and down. We'll be back to normal schedule tomorrow from 9 p.m. I know I've said that a couple of times this weekend, but we normally do okay Monday to Thursday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday that can be a little up and down. Yeah, no excuse. I don't believe. I know, right? Mom's probably like friggin' so tired after having a baby 6 weeks old. She probably doesn't even know what a shower is. She's like, shower? Sure. And then she tries to hop into the dishwasher. She's like, yes, this is where we shower, yes? Poor lady. But we'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. What do you mean, Potter? What? I don't know what Potter is referring to. You'll have to tell me, Potter, before we go. I don't know what Potter's asking. What can we help you with, Potter, my friend? I don't know. But yeah, tomorrow, I wonder if we'll get a verdict tomorrow. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe more questions to the judge. Don't know, but being that it's 3:20 in the afternoon now, I don't think we would be getting a verdict today. Sometimes. Look, I love you all. Thank you to all the new subscribers. If you are not subscribed, something like 54% of people who watch this channel are not currently subscribed. We also get a lot of people who get unsubscribed for random YouTube reasons. I have no idea. I don't know why. And they often complain that they come back and they're unsubscribed. So make sure you check your subscription status and make sure it is clicked to subscribed. Yeah, it's freezing down here today. It's so cold, Potter. It's freaking cold down here. Yeah, it's in the middle of winter, and then we're in the middle of a cold snap right now down here. It is freezing. But I'm gonna head out for the day. I'm gonna go watch more of this Parliament session, and hopefully we get a good decision. And I will be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday if you do have it. If not, have the rest of your Monday, very early Monday morning right now. Have a great Monday. Be productive out there and get everything you want to get done tomorrow. It gives you the rest of the week to not be as stressed out, right? Right. Try and get what you can done on your Monday so the rest of your week is easier. Angela says it happened on WebSource also, not just your channel. I think it happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. For some reason, they just get unsubscribed. Oh, that's so hot. I know DJ messaged me something. Where is it? And DJ sent me some stories to do, but we'll do them tomorrow night when he's here. He said in Phoenix over the weekend, it got to 47 degrees Celsius, 117 degrees Fahrenheit. That is insane. That is crazy hot. I hope all the people in Arizona are okay. No. Unfortunately, no, we can't. We can't receive it right now. Right now, all importation is banned. So all our stores in Australia don't have any stock because no one can import anything. I can't, stores can't, no one can. This vaping bill that's supposed to be going through tonight is like literally the final nail in the coffin. It makes it like just a 1,000 times more death to the industry. Yeah, wish we could ship a box of freezing air to Arizona. Right, I agree. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Jojo says we're okay. We're not okay. It's miserable. I hope that hot spell moves away from the southwest of America soon for you, and then you guys can get into monsoon, where you guys get a lot of afternoon storms that cool down your afternoon. I hope that happens for you soon. All right, my friends. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow 9 p.m. Okay? Bye. Bye. Goodbye. Bye.